Well, we're in Freedom Square here in the middle of Kharkiv that was hit by a strike last night. You can see complete devastation here. The top of this building behind me has been completely taken out. There's just rubble all over the streets and people wandering around assessing the damage. Clearly, we're not going to loiter here long, but it seems like Russia has switched tactics from trying to hit military targets at the beginning of this war to now trying to take out symbols of the Ukrainian state. At the moment, though, the response from the Ukrainians has been one of complete defiance. Kharkiv at the moment is a very, very nervous city, completely devoid of any kind of normal life in the centre here. And it is just devastating to see what has happened since we were here, a couple of weeks ago when this was a normal, bustling city. Now it is an absolute shell.
Оккупанты! Оккупанты! Домой! Домой! Мы безоружные! Фашисты! Вы будете по мирным стрелять? У нас нет оружия! Домой! Вам тут не Россия!
A Fox News alert right now. Heavy fighting in Ukraine's second largest city. It's happening as we speak. Local media reporting dozens have killed and several hundred injured. But Vladimir Putin's attempts to take out the urban center so far leaving some fearing he could soon unleash far worse. Just try to level it. Retired Army General David Perkins joins us now. General, great to see you. What are those people going through as you understand it right now in Kharkiv?
Well, having been a commander who commanded large armored forces trying to take down a large capital city and affect regime change, it really requires a level of sophistication and synchronization in the military that, quite honestly, so far I have not seen from the Russian army. They may be big, but they don't look to be particularly good, especially when it comes to their ability to provide logistics and ammunition.
Right, which you know is about everything. If you can't gas up your vehicles, if you can't arm your tanks, what good is it having it? Look at some of these stats that we're hearing. They're according to the Ukrainian sources, so take it for what it is. This is what they've done already. They've taken out 102 tanks, 536 armored vehicles, 11 helicopters, 14 fighter jets. If that numbers are even close to correct, what does that tell you about this operation?
Yeah, well, Brian, I'll tell you, if those had been the losses I took as a commander in a situation like this, I would not be speaking to you today as a retired officer. I'd be speaking to you as a fired officer. When we took Baghdad, though every life was precious, we lost 8 soldiers and 1 tank. What this tells me is they are not prepared for the type of operation they're involved with. Urban fighting is the most difficult kind of fighting. And when you're taking those kinds of losses and you have not established what we call your lines of communication, your supply lines, this grinds you to a halt because you cannot replace them. And it also means you're not using what you have till its fullest effect. You're not synchronizing your mounted, dismounted, and fires to gain that advantage.
General, we only have 20 seconds, but if you were told you could level a city, you don't need urban fighting. Are you afraid they've been told just to level it?
My concern is desperate people do desperate things. His army appears not to be up to speed, and so I'm afraid he's going to ratchet it to another level, which would require huge amounts of collateral damage, indiscriminate killing, and very bad for the Ukrainians.
Yeah, sad to say, I don't think he cares. We always did. General, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian. Great to talk to you again.
刚才我们遇到枪击了，两个乌克兰平民拿长枪在我们后面追我们3个跑的跟没命一样，就枪就在子弹头上飞。
男子在镜头前好像快要喘不过气，想起刚刚的遭遇，还是觉得心有余悸。
女孩子直接吓哭了，女孩子直接吓哭了。我们安静，没事。
慌乱之中还得照顾同行友人，大陆网友录下这画面 po 在微博，表示自己住在乌克兰首都基辅的西北部，26号不得已到超市采购，就遇上枪击，求饶后才逃过一劫。
再次恳求在国内的一些个别网友能够谨言慎行啊，不要把因为自己一些不恰当的言论被外网一些就是别有用心的人利用，从而成为反华工具。
会这么说，就是因为乌俄爆发战争后，即使中国宣布展开撤侨，但事实上真的没有这么容易，因为有大陆网友在网络上发表，像是希望乌克兰能打久一点，好让中国人收留乌克兰美女等言论，引发当地反陆情绪高涨。至于台湾的留学生，则是已经平安抵达波兰。
我们在一路上真的蛮辛苦的，4几小时都没有好好的睡觉，也或者是说好好的洗澡什么样的。
台湾留学生 Simon 到了波兰首都华沙拍影片报平安，撤侨专车上大大贴着中华民国国旗。他也说，现在若要撤，最好带上国旗，因为在这个时刻就好像保命符。
大部分的人都是选择到华沙就走，就能走就走了。
Simon 2017年到乌克兰读航空大学，差1年就可以毕业。现在遇上战争，得且战且走，但没人身安全是现在最重要的事。
Reports say a Russian military convoy about 64 kilometers long north of Kiev is moving towards Ukraine's capital. Satellite images released by U.S. space technology company Maxar show that the convoy in the outskirts of Kiev is substantially longer than the 27-kilometer reported earlier. Maxar says the large military convoy consisted of armored vehicles, tanks, towed artillery, and other logistical vehicles.
In a sharp deviation from its traditional neutrality, Switzerland said on Monday that it will adopt all the sanctions that the EU has imposed on Russian people and companies and freeze their assets to punish Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Flanked by his finance, defense, and justice ministers, Swiss President Ignacio Cassis said extraordinary times called for extraordinary measures.
L'attaque de la Russie contre l'Ukraine est inacceptable.
Russia's attack against Ukraine is unacceptable with regards to international law, unacceptable politically speaking, and unacceptable from a moral point of view. The Federal Council has decided to fully adopt the European Union's sanctions, including asset freezing.
Switzerland has steered clear of imposing sanctions in a string of past crises, including when Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. Switzerland on Monday also adopted financial sanctions against Russian President Vladimir Putin and other high-ranking officials effective immediately. EU Chief Josep Borrell welcomed the move, calling it good news that transferring money to Swiss banks would no longer help Russian oligarchs. In another break from the norm, Germany said it will increase its military spending to 2% of GDP in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The EU's biggest economy had resisted pressure to increase its military spending in the past, owing to its 20th century history. The boost in spending lifted defense stocks in the U.S. and Europe on Monday, with shares of Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Northrop Grumman all soaring, on pace for a third straight session of gains.